Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even looking to sell your home, this next 30 minutes is designed just for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, with my attorney advice throughout the way. Any questions whatsoever, I have people standing by to answer them. Just call the phone number on the screen, 407-205-0400. If you want to start the house hunt this weekend to find your dream home, Dallas Lehman, with You Have Mortgages standing by to get you pre-qualified as well at that very same phone number. Great show for you this afternoon. You won't want to miss a second. But first, the opening statement. The opening statement today is brought to you by my good friends at IQ Power Solar. As you know, I went solar last year, saved $10,000 in taxes and about $400 a month on my electricity bill. It's been crazy. All in all, I think I've saved $30,000 total just by going solar. You can do the same. Look, solar is the wave of the future. It is time to stop relying on these big electricity companies. It's time to go solar. Stephen Bader, how did you do it? So you might have heard the CDC has extended the eviction moratorium. It was set to expire earlier this week on March 31st, but now it's been extended to June 30th. The first question you might have is a pretty rational one. Why is the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, dealing with our housing market? It's a great question. I really can't necessarily answer that question for you, but it's been extended through June 30th. What that means, if you're a landlord, you have a tenant there under a lease, you can't evict them. If they file this form, it says that they're being affected by COVID, you literally can't evict them. Now, there's some arguments back and forth, but generally I'm for the little guy. Normally I would really support this decision, but I think we're at a point where you have landlords out there who happen to pay their own mortgages, but yet they have tenants in their houses that aren't paying the rent. And this is creating a great financial hardship on these landlords as well. We're also giving extra unemployment benefits right now for things such as, paying rent. So I don't necessarily agree with this further extension of it. That being said, what does it mean for landlords? What does it mean for tenants? What can you do if you're a landlord now to evict someone? What does it mean for a commercial tenant? Maybe you own your business and you're paying rent to your landlord in a business setting. What does it mean for you? We're going to answer those questions, and we're going to do so by asking real questions. Each Saturday here on You Have Real Estate, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Very pleased to welcome a new guest today, and Amanda Miller is here. Hello, Amanda. How are you?
Hey, Justin. Good. How are you?
Hey, very well. And a returning visitor, Rob Keeler, is here. Hello, Rob. How are you?
Hey, Justin. Fine.
Let me start with you, Amanda, right away. Welcome to the show, number one. I've heard a lot about you. They rave about you. Broker associate over at Remax Central Realty, I believe,
Correct.
there in Lake Mary.
Yes.
What is going on? Have you seen this moratorium affect your clients, whether they're landlords, tenants, whatever? How have you seen it affect people down there in the trenches?
Yes, definitely, especially with some of my investor customers. So my sellers who have multiple investment properties are getting out now before things get bad. Some who have multiple investment properties are now putting them up for sale and selling them before their tenants stop paying, and so they're ending their leases and just to get ahead of that curve because they don't want to be stuck with 7-9 properties with tenants not paying.
Think about it like this. Let's say that you and your family lived in the house down the street as you had kids, and then you started making a little bit more money and you upsized a little bit. You're like, you know what? Let's keep the first home. We'll keep it as a rental. Really a great investment strategy, and a lot of families do that. So you're renting it out, right? You started renting it out last April when the virus hit, when the pandemic really hit, and your tenant decided, I'm not going to pay you rent anymore. You still have a mortgage that you have to pay, and you know what? I'm just going to sell the place. Market's great. I'm going to sell it. But if your tenant's not paying and you can't evict them, how does that affect my ability to sell that rental home?
It affects it tremendously. So in my customer's case, they're waiting till the leases are up, and then they're just not renewing the leases. And so they're lucky that they're in a good position to do that. Otherwise, if the leases are not up, then they just have to continue on. And, once the lease is up, then, they can sell the place.
I was probably, maybe the biggest foreclosure lawyer in town back when the foreclosure crisis hit, we represented families against the bank. And I love that because I saw these big lenders absolutely take advantage of my client. They would call them and say, hey, we'll do a loan modification. Next thing you know, they're getting foreclosure paperwork. I love helping the little guy. So this is almost counterintuitive of me to say that I didn't want them to extend that again. But what do you think? Help me feel better about that feeling. I mean, how do you feel about them extending this moratorium?
I think that home ownership in Florida is a privilege, and I do think that tenants who are, they're going to you have to pay rent or mortgage somewhere. And one of the benefits of living in Florida is that you can purchase your own home. You can write it off on your taxes. I encourage people who are renting to go ahead and buy. Now's a perfect time to buy right now. Rather than paying your landlord, you're going to be paying your own mortgage. You're building up equity. So it's a very difficult situation.
Yeah.
If someone's unemployed, then it's very, very difficult. But we can't live for free. We can't. This can't go on forever.
And certainly it's not a political show, and we have given tenants a year now basically to live there rent-free. I mean, one of the other options, though, is if someone is out of the lease, if the lease is over, if they're what's called a holdover tenant, at least the courts in Orange and Seminole County have held that you can then foreclose on them. So as long as the lease is up, you can foreclose, or excuse me, you can evict them. However, if they're still under the lease and they're not paying, and there's this one form, one pager, if they file it with the court, there's really not much you can do as a landlord. So I think that we've probably had enough time. I don't necessarily love this extension, but certainly we hope this is the last extension. So that helps homeowners. We know, or that helps tenants, I would say. But what about, Rob, commercial tenants? So I own a business, let's say. I'm renting office building in Maitland, whatever it is, and our business has been completely hammered by this pandemic. Does the same thing apply to the same rules apply to commercial tenants?
There's going to be similar rules, I believe, with the commercial tenants and the landlords. What you're going to see probably more often than not is the ability to come back to the table and renegotiate from where everybody currently stands. Of course, you've got the force majeure and all of those things that's going to be probably brought to the table from the legal side and trying to clog up the system, if you will. The other side of that is you got tenants that will probably do the bankruptcy to create a stay, so that they can legally, if you will, not have to pay. And those are probably more the mom and pop size tenants. The essence of what's going on is certainly going to hurt the values on the commercial real estate, just as it will for the residential. Lenders are tightening their belts and already have as a result of everything. So it's a multi-dynamic situation playing out.
Well, I'm Joe Bob's Plumbing Company, let's say, okay? And I've been renting the same place 3 or 4 years. Plumbing business is way down because of the pandemic, although that's probably not accurate. I'm just using it as an example. And I can't pay my rent. I cannot pay my commercial rent for Joe Bob's Plumbing. What do I say? As the owner of the company, who do I go talk to, and what do I say?
Well, if you're renting a property as a tenant and you're dealing with a property manager, you want to get in front of that right away. I mean, day one that you realize that you're going to be late or short on the rent. If you're dealing with the owner, you've got one less step in front of you. You can deal direct with the owner, but get in front of them, communicate with them. Let them know. I mean, obviously, if anybody has a TV or walks out their front door, they realize where we're at in our economy and everything right now. So the landlord and the property manager probably are already anticipating that conversation happening. It's just getting out there and being straight.
Yeah. Hey, let's say you are a landlord. You have a couple of rental properties that you've been renting, and you obviously read the news, you read the newspaper. You know that this real estate market, surprisingly so, I guess, is incredibly hot. Maybe the hottest it's ever been. I mean, that's where we are right now in this real estate market in Central Florida, possibly the hottest it's ever been. And you're thinking to yourself, well, I have these rental properties. I've enjoyed that monthly income coming in, but maybe I want to look at selling right now. Amanda, what's going on right now in the trenches as far as values and inventory here in Central Florida?
We are definitely in a supply and demand market right now. It's completely a seller's market. However, the interest rates being what they are is still making buyers flock to purchase homes and having to deal with multiple offer situations. For landlords who have got tenants in there and have it for a while, they can still sell their homes with the tenant in place and still, get out from under the property and sell it, because there's plenty of buyers out there who are still looking for investments. And if the tenant's already in place and the tenant is paying, then, great. Then that's a great opportunity. But inventory is extremely, extremely low. Multiple offers, bidding wars is going on right now. And every strategy in the book is being used to get buyers' offers accepted.
Let me tell you something. I've never told you this on this show because I've really only been feeling this way the last maybe few days to a week. And I'm not trying to brag, but most of the predictions I've given you over the last couple of years have been at least close to accurate, except the time I said that the pandemic was going away last February. That was not one of my better guesses. That being said, I believe interest rates are going to go up somewhat significantly. These two are going to disagree with me. I think interest rates are going to go up somewhat significantly between now and the end of the year. I'm talking 4.5 even. People are going to disagree, but you're going to start hearing an outcry because you're seeing so much media coverage of 20 offers on each home, 30 offers in some places on one home, that people are going to start saying, well, we got to do something to slow this down. What is the obvious choice when it comes to try to slow this down? You raise interest rates. Now, the Fed has been reluctant to do that because they don't want you to look at them like they're the ones that slowed down the economy. I see it happening. And I'm also saying this right now because Dallas Lehman's not here today. He's normally here and he would be staring me down. But I think now, if you're trying to buy, is probably a darn good time to do it. But also it might be a darn good time to sell, because I think as those rates go up, the market could soften a little bit. Are we going to have a crisis like 2008? I don't believe so. But I think the market could soften as we go forward a little bit this year. But Amanda, you work in real estate every day, one of the top agents. What do you see happening with the prices the rest of the year?
I see that, interest rates, from what I've been speaking with lenders I work with, they will be going up. However, we're seeing pricing going up as well. So if buyers are out there and trying to decide whether to purchase or not, or wait out 6 months or a year, I think that would behoove them waiting, because not only they're going to have a higher interest rate, they're going to be paying higher sales prices. So that's not helpful. We don't see inventory going up anytime soon. So it's strategy as far as finding a home, getting a home, and also finding a great agent who can uncover those potential listings that maybe aren't out on the market yet.
And then commercial, we talk about all the time. Commercial real estate, very different than residential. So if commercial real estate's hot, doesn't mean commercial real estate's hot. Residential and commercial are different. Even most agents that we work with tend to focus residential or commercial because whole different world. It's apples to oranges. We know the residential market is crazy hot, maybe the hottest it's ever been. What's going on the commercial side, Rob?
So on commercial, obviously the retail sector has taken a really big hit. You start with the restaurants and go down the list as far as that goes. But what's interesting is you see a lot of those owners or the general investor that was kind of on the front end of the news of the pandemic and was thinking long term. A lot of those guys opted to exit last year, 2020, through the 1031, and there was actually a shortage of single-tenant net lease properties that had substantial credit ratings throughout the country, and the pickings were very slim, as they would say. The other thing is you've got folks that are like retail owners or other owners that particular sector of commercial may be suffering a little bit more. They're actually diversifying, going into a different sector. An example would be in the healthcare sector for medical, or going over, getting into multifamily, even though multifamily has been very stable for a very long time, and people project that to change, but right now the indicators are it's still pretty good. Industrial is the best that it's been in a long time, very low inventory, if any, depending on the user. And it's just, it's a very fluid situation for the investor.
Let's say that, maybe a long-winded question, I apologize in advance, but let's say that I got fired from my job, or this pandemic has made me realize I don't want to go back to the job I had before. So I want to start a brewery. Let's say that I want to expand my brewery. Our favorite one's 3 Odd Guys and a Popka. So let's say that we want to expand three odd guys from Apopka to a Lake Mary location. Okay, we're gonna rent a location at a strip mall in Lake Mary. If I go in there today, as we sit here in April of 2021, can I negotiate a better deal in that location now than I could have 2 years ago?
Absolutely, I would say hands down.
So
Yes.
let's just throw out a number. The rent 2 years ago was $8,500 a month. What should I go in at today?
I would say you could go in probably 3/4 of that.
Is that right?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
So now I think if you're going to start something, things are going to come back. Let's be honest. I don't think the world is ending. I don't think we're all here for our demise.
Right.
But now's a great time to negotiate some commercial deals.
Yeah.
You know, if you know that you want to start your own business or expand your business, what a great time to go get a great deal now. And you'll be paying $4,000 for your location, where someone that moves in 2 years from now is going to be paying double that possibly. So
Well, besides that, Justin, you're also looking at other dynamics of the commercial side of it, being whether it's a reduction in what used to be the price per square foot, or possibly maybe there was a guarantee of sorts the landlord was going to get 2 years ago. He may not get that now. So there's some flexibility there, I believe.
what about TI? A lot of people don't know that they can come in and negotiate. You can call it build out money or TI, tenant improvement. How do you negotiate that? And can you? And are most people going to give me money for my build out?
If you're the landlord, you're looking for the highest credit rated tenant you could possibly have, or at least close to it, to lend that kind of money out to build out their facility for them. If you are the tenant, then obviously you would like to put that cost back in the landlord's lap. But that, again, may come down to a negotiated piece. Worst case, where if the landlord does cover that, they may want to recapture that quicker than they normally would have previously.
I want to show you some houses. Let's see what's on the market right now, and let's see what it's really going to cost you to get into a house right now. Amanda, you brought two of your listings here. Not surprisingly, we're seeing this every single week where we have a good friend who's an agent on. They'll say, this was for sale, but now it's pending. So this is normal. And, things do come and go. Start at Ridge Point Cove. Where is this?
This home is in Longwood, off of Lake Emma, and it's approximately 3,400 square feet. And we put it on the market and ended up with 12 showings in one day, 4 offers, and sold it in 3 days.
Oh my gosh!
And
what was the asking price on this?
$585,000.
I don't think I can't ask what it's pending at. I know, but let's say, is it a multiple offer type situation?
Yes, we had 4 offers, correct, and they were all really, really good.
Unbelievable.
They were all really good, and it's a beautiful house, and has a pool, and semi-custom home, and then we were contacted by agents for backup offers as well.
Wow. What is this 32779?
This is actually 32750.
32750. Okay, I
Correct.
got you. That part a long way, but a really nice area back there. A lot of people don't know about.
Definitely, yeah. It's right on the border of Lake Mary and Longwood, right on Lake Emma Road, called Ridge Point Cove, and super close to shopping. I-4, the tech corridor, everything is super, super close, and we had buyers coming in from all over. One offer was sight unseen, not uncommon that we get that.
Are we seeing offers come in for people locally? Are you seeing some of this influx of people from out of state?
Both.
Yeah.
Quite a few out of state. Quite a few. I've had recently buyers come in from Dallas, from Michigan, from Virginia. So all over. All of California. Recent closings from California. So all over.
I mean, I think Florida's where it's at with state income tax, the weather. It's kind of a no-brainer. I don't blame people for wanting to move here. I mean, and we want some of you actually. I mean, we might be going overboard at this point, but hey, we're happy to have most of you. We'll leave it at that.
Sure.
Is it Tiffany Avenue?
Jitway.
My handwriting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, this is a really cute little bungalow that was built in 2009. That's not it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was only about 1,100 square feet, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage, and we knew that this one was going to go. We listed it at $175, and we had 5 offers, all really, really good. It sold in 1 day, and the showings were every 30 minutes. I want to say
Really?
16 showings the first day.
it seems to be only getting more competitive. I mean, every
Very
week we come
competitive.
in here and we talk to real estate agents, and it's like every week is getting more competitive. It's wild what's going on.
Absolutely. There's a huge demand. Huge demand.
Unbelievable. If you'd like to see either of these properties or see some other properties out there on the market, I know for a fact Amanda would love to show them to you. Call the number on the screen and I'll connect you right away. Also, some commercial stuff going on too. Rob
Sure.
Keeler, what do you have here?
So what you have here is essentially an industrial lease opportunity. The owner of the property has available just a little over 11,000 square feet. It's going to be on the north side of the building there. It's located, if folks are familiar with Pebble Junction off of 1792, directly in front of that by the railroad spur. The Sanford's done a very good job of cleaning up and going to design criteria that's changing throughout that corridor, 1792, updating all the architectural aesthetics of the buildings. This particular owner has put almost $2 million just in renovation over the past year and a half. So other than the bones of the building, it's a brand new facility. Wonderful folks to be landlords, to have as a landlord. They're looking essentially at about $10 a square foot for the rent, and they will consider subdividing less than 11,000 square feet, essentially maybe up 5,000 or
Right, beautiful. If you're a business owner or you want to invest in commercial real estate, I assure you, Rob is your man. 407-205-0400. Rob, excellent job today. Thanks for coming in. Amanda, great to meet you.
Thank
Do you guys have time to stick around for the Real Estate Roundtable?
yes.
Sure.
Awesome. All right, perfect. And without further ado, it's time for your portion of the show. It's time for the Real Estate Roundtable. Every week, I answer your questions from throughout the week. All you have to do, go to our Facebook page, You Have Real Estate. Ask me a question right there, and we might just answer it next week right here on the TV show. Let's start with John in DeLand. What part of town can I get a good deal on a primary home?
Well, right now, when you say a good deal, I guess that's relative.
Any parts of town where you can still kind of get a decent bang for your buck, you think? Or Volusia County, anywhere?
Well, I would say Volusia County, absolutely. Deltona, you can still get a lot of home for the money in the Deltona area in Volusia County. I sold one in Winter Haven about 3 weeks ago that was a really, really good value, a brand new home, new build at $460, including a pool.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful house, actually. Yeah, really beautiful. So that area as well. You just have to keep an eye out, and it just depends on what price point you're looking at.
What about from a commercial perspective, Rob? Is it anywhere I can get a good bang for my buck?
Well, I believe if you get into what we would consider a primary market would be the central Orlando. So if you get outside of central Orlando into a secondary or tertiary type market, meaning into Lake County, Volusia County, in between here in Jacksonville, Midway, you're looking at probably a substantial decrease in what you can bite off, whether it be a lease or a purchase.
Got it. Beautiful. Rob Keeler, commercial agent to the stars. Thanks, buddy. How's business out there?
It's great.
It's crazy,
Great.
right?
Busy, yeah. There's not enough time in the day.
Doing a great job. Amanda Miller, everyone's been bragging about you. Got to meet Amanda. You didn't disappoint. You were fantastic. She's a broker associate with Remax Central Realty up there in Lake Mary. Give her a call. Any questions whatsoever, we're here for you. You want to get pre-approved, Dallas is here. You want to buy a house, you want to sell a house, give us a call. The phone number on the screen. Thank you both so much. Great job today. Most importantly, thank you for joining me here today. I love spending my weekends with you, and I'll see you next weekend for another edition of You Have Real Estate. Good job.